Hello, thank you for your time. My name is Natalie Harbaum, and I'll be applying for the dental hygiene position here at your office. It's so good to meet you, and thank you for the time.
Tell me about yourself.
So, like I said, my name is Natalie, and I am a 20-year-old graduate from the University of Cincinnati. I just graduated in 2024. It was a 2-year program that I went straight into after high school. I was very fortunate to graduate from there this past spring. In my free time, I like to spend time outside, spend time with my family, and go to church.
What are some accomplishments and skills that relate to this dental hygiene position?
In dental hygiene, I had the opportunity to administer local anesthesia on patients in clinic. I also had the opportunity to learn air polisher technology, which I know is a new advancement, especially in the newer offices. I also was able to use digital x-ray technology as well as Cavitron and piezo technology, which I feel very comfortable with. Um, Other things that I am very skillful in, I feel, is patient education about oral hygiene instruction, going over medical histories, and answering any patient questions that they may have regarding their oral health, whether that be oral hygiene, current brushing, flossing habits, or their periodontal status, including periodontal disease, gingivitis, or just overall health.
What are some of your strengths? Give me an example of how you use your strengths in a work or clinical situation.
One of my strengths is that I am very thorough in my work. I never want to leave a job or a position knowing that I did not try my best. I am very thorough in all the work that I do, whether that be at school or within a dental office. For example, I had a patient not too long ago where she had a lot of questions about her oral hygiene status. A lot of them were about, am I brushing and flossing correctly? I've noticed I have a lot of tartar buildup behind my front teeth. Even though we had a limited time in clinic, I wanted to make sure we spent the time in thoroughly going over oral hygiene instructions and providing different interdental aids so that she could reduce that buildup of plaque behind her front teeth. Afterwards, even though it took more time than originally planned, I felt very confident that we delivered a effective message on how to keep her oral hygiene at bay.
What are some of your weaknesses? What are you doing to improve your weak areas?
One of my biggest weak areas, I'd say, is that I am a perfectionist and I beat myself up over little mistakes. I want to make sure that everything is done perfectly and at the best of my ability, which can hinder my performance sometimes. However, I am working to improve this disadvantage that I feel I have by taking a step back and realizing that not everyone is perfect and we're all going to have bad days here and there, and not everything has to be 100% perfect all the time. And as a recent graduate, I understand that there's lots to learn, especially in the real world of clinical hygiene, and I am ready to take a step back, slow down, and learn as much as possible so I can overcome those perfectionist tendencies.
What did you like about past jobs, employment positions? What kept you in these positions?
So, some of my past employments, the most recent is working at the UC Blue Ash Library as a student assistant. I really love interaction between person to person. I love getting to know multiple people, getting to interact and just sit down and talk with them. And you get to see a multitude of different people sitting at the front desk at the library, whether that be checking out calculators or renting out study rooms. Um, Something that kept me in that position is that daily person to person communication, getting to see familiar faces every single day at the library. So that definitely kept me grounded at the library. Um, and I feel like that's very important to the world of hygiene as well. You'll start to build relationships with patients you see on a 6 month or a year basis. So I'm excited to embark on that journey.
What did you dislike about past employment positions? Why did you leave that position?
So going back to the library, I would say my least favorite part about that job is sometimes it gets slow. Being at a college library, a lot of people tend to keep to themselves and study, put on their headphones, and just nestle themselves in a quiet corner to study, which is wonderful. I definitely have done similar things, especially when I have some group projects to do. Um, However, that is one of my least favorite things about a job. I, again, would love some person to person interaction, some conversation, and sometimes being at the library, sitting at the desk, and just being by yourself, no conversation. It's a little bit draining, so that's why I'm looking forward to stepping into the world of hygiene just so I can communicate with patients on a day to day basis.
When working with a team, what role did you typically take on? Provide an example.
So, my typical role is that I am the team leader. I want to make sure something is done and that it is done quickly and efficiently, and that we will come to an agreement and have a plan set in stone. Sometimes I can come across as a little bossy, but that's just because I want to make sure the job is done right and is done correctly and in a efficient manner.
What distinguishes you or makes you stand out from other dental hygiene advocates?
What makes me stand out is that I had the opportunity to get licensed and have certifications that other hygienists may not have had the opportunity to. For example, UC provided us with courses over local anesthesia. So I am licensed to perform local anesthesia, and it is one of my favorite things to do, whether that be on scaling root planing patients or simply numbing before a dentist like yourself will come in for a filling. We also, again, like I mentioned, we're trained on air polisher technology. I know quite a few offices are still relying on the traditional rubber cup polisher, which is amazing still. It definitely has its place. So one advantage of the air polisher, again, is that it's new upcoming technology. So if this office does have that technology, I am well versed in it. And then another thing as well as digital x-rays. And then lastly, the Cavitron and piezo. Any ultrasonic scalers, I am well versed in those as well, and I have had plenty of scaling experience, especially with patients with heavy calculus.
Do you have any other questions for me?
Yes, so I do have a few questions. One question is, what is your protocol for referring out for patients, specifically with periodontal disease? What is the baseline? So say you had a patient with 5mm pockets, would you wait to refer out, or would you go ahead root plane in the office? I know a lot of offices have different procedures for that. And then lastly, my other question is I am a new graduate, of course. So how are you willing to accommodate me for the new grad experience? I know some offices are considering lengthening the first appointments for the first few months from an hour to about an hour 15, or from 45 to an hour. I just wanted to ask and see if you had any accommodations for new grads. Thank you.